Right, I'm back. Sorry for the gap. So yeah, it's been a good couple of weeks, maybe even a month, I'm not sure. But I've had a bit of a hectic one, I'm not gonna lie. Like, mostly mentally. I think a lot of it came down to, I felt a bit worthless. And I started questioning myself. And I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this, in the art world, a lot of this AI art that's come around at the beginning of this short phase I had where I wasn't involved as much, was really playing on my mind. It made me feel a bit worthless and a bit, you know, what is the point? Tied that to the fact that, you know, everyone's in the same boat, but my diary was getting quiet. So I was a bit lost, I'm not gonna lie. So it took me a little while, and I have these lulls, I have ups and downs. Sometimes I'll be out in a mood for a couple of weeks and I just feel a bit pointless, and sometimes I feel extra inspired. And right now I'm feeling inspired, so it's time to make a little video. But I have to say, there is sometimes where I don't want to do anything. I just end up beating myself up about stuff I don't need to beat myself up about. I didn't want to forget about YouTube. I wanted to carry on going because it's one of the things that make me feel good. I do like to see the messages that this stuff's helped and that, you know, you've been inspired by the drawings, etc., etc. So I thought I'd do a little drawing one today. I actually started one similar last night, and I'm going to do another one today. I might not finish the whole thing because I'm trying to keep these under an hour because, you know, they can get quite long otherwise. And I don't like rushing sketches, if I'm honest. So I might split this into parts. I'm going to start now with, let's say, the first part. I'm going to rough out forms today. And then the next part we'll go into more detailed sketching and how it might work for the tattoos, etc., etc. This is the one I started yesterday. Really chuffed with that. But now I'm going to start a new one with the same reference. Also learnt a few little tips and tricks over the last month that's kind of helped me push forward more with what especially with Procreate and how I work with Procreate. Right, so yeah, I'm going to start with the same reference I used yesterday and just going to see how we get on. It's more just a little chat, you know, a little catch up. I haven't been on here in a little while, so it might be quite nice. Who knows? Anyway, so let's add, first of all, actually, let's nick the layer for this. So copy. Right, lock the drawing layer. That's my little paper texture I like to use. So we're on a normal A4. I'll show you the dimensions so you know what the hell's going on. There's the dimensions. You can see it up on screen now. If you want to copy them dimensions, that's exactly the dimensions I use for my A4. Always set it at 300 dpi. You know, and other than the 300 dpi, I think it's pretty much just a straight up A4 sized sheet. Procreate file. They just usually set it about 72, I think. I think it's 72 because it's just the best for work, for online, for sharing online. Right, the little tip I learned is I changed, if you go to gesture controls, I'll show you here. I'll show you this now because you might be able to use it whilst we're doing this video. Go to prefs, go to gesture controls, quick menu, change it to a three finger swipe. Once you've done that, now all of these tools you see on the screen, I can change each of those to whatever the fuck I want. So at the moment, I've got copy and paste. If you hold down, you can change it to anything. I've copy, paste, actual size, which I think helps with before you're about to print, so you get a good idea of the size. Flip horizontally, which is perfect for if you're drawing faces. If you're drawing a face and then you flip it, if the face looks odd flipped, then it's work on it in the flipped version and it will look better when you flip it back, if that makes sense, a little more natural. And then I have liquefy, which I use again on faces and such, and then the selection tool if I want to move little bits here and there. So yeah, that's a cool little thing I learned from, I can't remember his name, but I will post it in, I'll post this little thing here when I edit the video. really cool artist. Lots of Procreate art he does. So yeah, let's start. Right, we'll get the let's get a reference up. So let's add some reference. Go to image, import. Right, there's my reference. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take go to drawing, Eagle Hawk, like always, and I'm just gonna rough out a shape. I'm gonna turn it quite big. Oh, I'm on the locked layer still. Turn it quite big, and then now I'm just gonna like rough out some shapes, quite huge. So let's go for. So you're literally just looking at it. Whilst you're looking at it, you're getting some shapes together. Now this is, whilst you're looking at it, you're getting some shapes together. This is quite an awkward angle for a skull, so you can kind of play around with it. As long as it's got that flow to it that the natural one has, then you should be fine. It's like, imagine this is a circle. Remember the nose will run through the center of the circle. Like the top of a cranium is a circle. Might help if I add the photo in here. So if I add this in here, you'll see what I mean. So let's put this up. Dull that down, put it behind my pencil layer. Yeah, there you go. So you can see here that the top, usually the top of the cranium, it's a bit angled, so it might be a bit different, is a circle, right? Forget the jaw for a minute. So the nose will run through the center. If you had to slice the circle in a center like that, the nose will run there. The eyes will run about a third of the way down the circle, the center of the eyes, and the mouth will run the other third. Maybe like just underneath, like the middle of the mouth, if you imagine the lips closed. So that's a good way to start editing your thing. And you can always, you know, if you need a little help at the beginning, you can always take the picture of the skull and put it in the image, draw out this circle, and then kind of use it as a little grid to draw your initial sketch over. So let's draw a sketch. So the top of the nose should meet with the center of the eyes. So let's get the nose here like this. Remember, you're not copying it exactly, you're using it as reference, so it can be like mixed up a little bit. It's leaned back, so the mouth's gonna be kind of more of a top oval. What the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? It's gonna be a bit more of an oval, the top there. And then the cheekbone's gonna curl out and under. You'll see this better, this will make more sense when I start drawing the actual skull. And I want to put a peony coming outside, so this is just for reference for now, this back bit here, but I will add some flower petals coming outside, because I want to kind of just emulate the one I started yesterday. So yeah, not fair, I had a bit of practice, already got a little head start, but you know, you can do the same. So now we're just working, chipping away at these things. Remember, the center of the eye is there. This one's not going to be as big. Maybe that can come out a little bit. This is things like liquify tool is perfect for this, because you start moving things around. Liquify, a bit bigger. Instead of having to rub it out and draw it all again. I'm also going to have, so then the bottom part of the jaw, if I put my picture back on, will usually come out in a bit of a, like there'll be a line down to the bottom of the circle and then a triangle which will go join onto the circle, line down there, little triangle coming out. You catch my drift. Oh, I drew it over the wrong layer, so I should close layers. Whatever, you get my idea. So anyway, once you've marked that out, opacity down, and then start chipping away at with a small, I just go small on the Eagle Hawk. You don't have to use the Eagle Hawk. I know some people said, where's the Eagle Hawk? Well, if it's not there, then just pick, you know, I use, sometimes use Gloaming's good as well. Anything that's got that kind of sketchy, rough feel to it, so you're not feeling like you're having to chip away at the details. Because even with like the peppermint, if I started going crazy, I mean, I could do it at the peppermint, but if I start going crazy now, it's so thin, you're not really like, it's going to be very sketchy, loads of lines, might get a bit more confusing. Personally, I prefer to draw with a thicker brush first and then go in with a thinner brush. That's how I like to do it. New layer, you fool. Lock them layers. Just don't want to start drawing on the wrong layer. Okay. Right. So now, with the thinner brush, we can start going in and making our shapes a bit more defined. Look at where the cheekbone, I wish I could point to things with my pen on the reference, but you can't. The cheekbone comes up to the bottom of the nose there and then comes back out where the teeth start. So for me, I'm just going to add my flair, add my bits to it to make it a bit more mine, you know. Kind of just chipping away. If you just imagine it as a grid, look at the spacing between things. Right, so look at where the eye sits in conjunction to the nose, etc. So the gap between here and here is going to be a lot larger than the gap between there and there because it's at an angle. So this is a little bit more advanced. You're not just doing stuff straight on. I'm trying my hardest to draw more without the symmetry tool. Without the symmetry tool. Although sometimes, you know, I'm not saying the symmetry tool's lazy. It has its fucking place. Even when symmetrical things, I do like to use it. And then maybe if I want to make it a bit less symmetrical, I'll add them details on the side after maybe. Scoops up and over there, and this is going to be all the teeth gaps are. Now I'm feeling like that's a bit flat. Yeah, I'll do for now. So here is where, so that's the bottom of the jaw. And here is where, so there'll be some teeth there, and then I'll add some petals. This looks absolute shite at the moment, but bear with me. Because whilst we're doing this sort of sketch, you're just working at it, right? You're just working at it. It's not going to be perfect straight away for no one. I don't care how good of an artist they are. It all starts with a basic sketch. Some people are mutants and can just draw things from scratch, amazing. Well, fucking well done to you. I cannot. I need to sketch things out first. And I think that's fair. I like to feel it out where I want to go with things. Now, as much as I've probably tattooed skulls a lot, I am not the master skullsman that I'd like to be just yet. That's that. Always add these like temple bones, always look good. Then you're gonna add some flowers. So when it comes to drawing these like peonies, I'm trying to imagine it going around in a circle and then slipping off at the bottom. Like if gravity took hold of these petals, how would it look? You know? Like what are these petals going to cover? What are you willing to lose out of the main skull or whatever object you're putting these around? And they've got to like kind of go from up to down. There's got to be a middle ground. There's got to be like a couple of petals maybe that aren't either, that are just facing forward. Something along them lines. Alright, so we've done that. That's our rough. Now I'm going to get out a different pencil, something a bit more detailed, and I'm going to start cracking into some details. See if I can start finding the areas that want to add the detail, finding bits, finding stuff. The opacity down, lock that up. Right, new layer. Now I'll use, like using the peppermint. Alright, so we've got a really, really rough sketch, so let's start getting in there with a bit more detail. So still using the reference, start picking away at the detail. It can still be quite sketchy because you could always make more layers, keep making layers till it's done, but layers are your best friend when it comes to sketching. It's one thing that people with paper cannot do. So yeah, I saw a video a little while ago that just got me thinking. I say a little while ago, it was only a couple of days ago, and it was talking about how artists are feeling because of the AI stuff. But then the video was like, look, the AI has weaknesses as well. The AI has weaknesses as well. Some stuff that it can't do, and a lot of that's copyright. You know, copyright or nudity. I mean, this guy was drawing like a water nymph, a black water nymph, and it was so cool, but she didn't have a top on. And you couldn't see anything, she was covering herself. She's a water nymph, man, they don't need to wear clothes, they live in the water. But because of that, he couldn't get AI to make that because it went against it violated their policies on nudity and stuff like that. So there is a lot of weaknesses about AI. As much as it can create art really fast and like make you feel worthless as an artist sometimes, it's finite. It's not really AI because it's not creating art, you know, from scratch. It's making it from like a soup of other artists. It's using it, whatever it can find online, to make images. And that's kind of comforting because as much as you could sit there, type prompts in all day long for what you want, and don't get me wrong, it's a good tool for an artist. I use it for reference now. But as much as you could sit there and type prompts all day long about, you know, what you want, if you had a specific thing in mind, how fucking long and hard it's going to be to keep making prompts, keep getting AI to make images before you get the exact image you want. It's going to be absolute nightmare. At least with a sketch, at least with your hand on a screen or on a piece of paper or whatever, you can make whatever you want, however you want it. You can change the tiniest of bits if it bothers you, you know, and you can do that whenever you want whilst you're drawing. If let's say in AI you get like, I don't know, their little fingers a little bit far to the right, that's going to be hard work to try and, you know, prompt it to change just the little finger's angle. Or maybe not, I don't know. I don't use AI to that much depth, but you kind of get my point? Do you get my point? I don't get my point. But at least with drawing, I can get out a liquify tool, twist it around, rub it out, quickly sketch it again, and make not a new version, but make it work to the way I see it in my mind. And I think that's a lot of the time where artists who are artists before AI use AI as a tool, and people who were just, what's the word? Enthusiasts of art have now become artists overnight, if that makes sense. Because the difference is, an artist will have something in mind, so they'll get frustrated a lot of the time with AI art. You know, unless they're just trying to pump stuff out for social media. If they really wanted to create something that had something in mind, it's going to be really hard to make it exactly how you want in AI. And you kind of end up working backwards. You kind of end up with a finished product in your hand and then kind of deconstruct it and keep deconstructing it until you get it right. Whereas artwork, you start with a blank canvas and just an idea, and you go from there. With AI, whatever comes up first is your starting point. So a finished piece of artwork, it's like me getting this skull given to me and them saying, now make it your own. And now I've got to deconstruct the whole fucking drawing and draw it again to make it how I want it to be, which is hard. It's really hard. So yeah, it's difficult. But anyway, on a psychological side of things, it got to me. It got me really worked up about not so much tattoos. I feel safe tattooing, but my art, my illustrations and stuff like that. That's too far in the middle. My illustrations, I spend a lot of time on them. And when I see people pumping out artwork that's just there in a second, it does get to me. It gets to me. It makes me feel a bit useless. It makes me feel like, is there any point? But there is point. Because of that whole reason, I've started from blank canvas and used just my brain to make it work, to make that piece of art. And as much as there's so many artists at the moment now, when AI, like, if it ever does take over, I do feel like human-made art will have its comeuppance, just like vinyl has in the music industry. It's become a collectible thing, something people will pay money for to have on their shelf, to keep. Owning that bit of humanity, you know. So tie that with a lot of people saying, oh Jason, you know, you should go get checked for ADHD or something, because there's certain characteristics I had that people are telling me it might help if I understood my way of thinking a bit better. They think I might have a bit of, you know, because I do get obsessed with like hobbies and such like that. So I end up doing loads of artwork, modelling, 3D modelling, video making, tattoos, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of shit. And yeah, so I started watching loads of videos about ADHD, you know, telltale signs of ADHD. One really fucking clicked with me. It said, people with ADHD generally search out, is it dopamine? Not dopamine. Quick endorphin hits. Is it endorphins? Oh, that, you know, that chemical that's released that makes you feel good, right? Quick ones. That's why I snack a lot. I might forget lunch all day, but then I'll snack on little things throughout the day. If I'm bored, I'll quick, I need to feel good about something for a second. Quickly have a little snack. If I'm always drawing, like, it doesn't matter what's happening. If we're chilling down to watch a film at home, I've got the iPad out and I'm drawing. Now, soon as that clicked, that might be something that, you know, maybe it does make me feel bad, because if I when I didn't understand what that could be, I'd feel bad if I didn't have this stuff. I'd always think to myself, oh, so what? I'll just have another one and make me feel better. Now I kind of get an idea. Now I've kind of got this idea of what that could be. It makes me stop doing them things. You know, relax a bit more. Spend time with people when they need it. You know, without like, there's me thinking, oh, sorry, I'm spending time watching TV with my family or girlfriend or something. But I'm sitting there drawing, I'm sitting there working. I need to be able to put this stuff down. Put it down and be present in the moment. It is hard, but it helps a lot when something clicks. When someone says something, it clicks. Now it feels like a bit of a challenge. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. You know, like before I just figured, oh, everyone does it. It's kind of innocent. But now I've got this idea that maybe that, you know, it's something that can help. It's something else. Which is quite nice because it just kind of made me feel calm all of a sudden. I had a bit of control over this part that I didn't really fully feel like I ever thought about controlling before. And it's something I can control because I can just say no. And because I know that it's not, maybe I'm not hungry or I don't need to draw right then and there. It helps. And it did help. It helped quite a lot actually. But like I said at the beginning of this, I have ups and downs. You know, next week I might feel absolutely miserable and not want to do things. And a human brain is fucking confusing. So weird. There's so much going on up there. It's mental. I found out that I can't remember the number that they use. Flipper dudes. Floidevlangs. Flapperludes. Let's just call them flipper dudes. So your brain has like 5 trillion flipper dudes of information pumping through it at every given time to any task, any second, where the most a computer can do right now is like 2 flipper dudes. And this is going to be the most technical conversation I ever have because they're 100% called flipper dudes. But anyway, my point is to reach the amount of processes, electronical processes that your brain makes, a computer would need to be huge. Apparently there's like a supercomputer that can match it, and if not better, the amount of processes a brain can make. But the whole thing's like 30 tons and it takes up a whole floor of a building, which is insane. So yeah, we've still got a while to go before computers are like actually overtaking us in the grand scheme of things. That's not to say that people like me who are pretty damn slow can't be taken over by an iPhone or something anytime soon. Product placement. Yeah, I spent like £2 on a can of water, and you know why? Because their artwork and branding is fucking sick. And I went to Scotland last week, which was fucking amazing, and the water blew my mind. My hair felt fresh just by getting it wet in the shower. Come back down to the south of England, everything's got a lime scale, everything feels crusty, and it made me, it was a big thing about tattooing as well. It made me think, fuck, I need to I might start using bottled water. I'm not going to start doing that for tattoos, but I'd love to be able to soften the water I use on people's skin, because I actually think it would stop irritation on the skin. It's crazy how good that was. Mental, I tells ya. So most of this will probably be black in here. Alright, so I'm going to rough out the leaves now. I can't see them. Okay, let's do them a bit. With peonies, especially with the dark side and the light side of peonies, I definitely think it's better. I definitely think it's a good thing to bear in mind about how much dark side So this would be dark and how much light side there is, because sometimes I've done flowers and I've not really thought it through, and then there's like barely any dark side, or there's like too much dark side on one side of the flower and not enough, like too much dark side on one side of the flower, and it really outweighed, and it looks kind of odd because then you've got one really light side of the flower and one really dark side. So I think like it's good to have an equal amount of both, or at least have it spread an equal amount. So if there's not that much dark, then just make sure it's in enough areas of the tattoo so it weighs itself out equally. So again, dark side, and then, yeah, so on this side, I'm gonna have to add more dark because the light on this skull is gonna be coming from here. So there's gonna be a lot of dark around here. A lot of dark, a lot of dark. So, and then all the petals that are there are dark. So I'm gonna have to add an actual amount. Yeah, so I have to make sure I add a lot of dark side to the petals over this side. So this could be dark here, this could be light. Cool, I think that's a good starting point. So that's like my neat but rough sketch of this design, which I think is really cool. I'm enjoying it, and I'll finish this in a separate video. This video is now probably going to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. I think that's a good ending point there. Let's split these down so you don't have to do it all in one go. I would happily leave that there and finish it another day. So I'm cool with that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry about the massive break. I'm back on it now. I'm feeling good. You know, there's a lot coming up, a lot planned, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get moving forward. I've had a big bump of inspiration recently, and it's really pushed me in the right direction. So again, sorry for the break. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to support, I've got the Patreon. Buy me a coffee down there, buy a bit of merch. I think I've got some of them Skull and Fawn t-shirts left. And other than that, fucking love ya, and I'll speak to you on the flip. Blow! Pah! My little remote, just turn this off. Oh!